How do each one of the decisions that we make every day affect our lives and affect our success? We're going to talk more about that now on this episode of the Unlock Success Podcast.
This is the Unlock Success Podcast. We're helping entrepreneurs around the world dive deep into the keys you need to shatter excuses, believe in yourself, and help you achieve your highest goals. Here's your host, 8-figure entrepreneur and the living legend of internet marketing, Anthony Morrison.
Hey everybody, what's up? Anthony Morrison here, and welcome to another edition of the Unlock Success Podcast, where my goal is to help you unlock success in pretty much every area of your life, right? As entrepreneurs, we need help in every area, right? Because we're always so stressed and we're always, pushing the boundaries, right? Trying to create and do new and amazing things. And with that always comes the need to grow, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a person, as maybe a husband or a wife or a brother or a sister or a mother or a father or whatever the case may be. And my goal is to kind of give you some of the wisdom, the tips that either I've figured out and experienced in my life, or that were taught to me by people much wiser than I am. So hopefully you'll find this episode to be one of value. And we talk about the fork in the road, right? And if you don't know what that means, you might take a second to look on Amazon and type in my name and look up The Hidden Millionaire. It was the first book that I wrote. And it was called The Hidden Millionaire. And on the front of it, there was a man. Well, it was actually, this one was on the front of it was me standing right at the fork in the road where the road splits, right? It goes two different directions. And the idea behind this is that every day we're faced with these decisions that we have to make. Which path are we going to take? Which road are we going to travel, right? And a lot of times we don't even realize it when we're there, right? It's oftentimes it's those small little decisions that make such a great difference in who we are today and who we become in the future. And I always tell the story. I used to do live seminars all over the country. And I'll never forget, somebody once told me, they're like, listen, the small decisions that you make, they don't really matter. It's only the big decisions. It's those big impactful moments in your life. That's all that really matters. And I say, no, that's not true. It's every single decision that you make, because it puts you on a different path. And that path is going to lead you to wherever you're going to be. Maybe, you make a different decision 3-4 months ago in some small little way, and you don't end up in the place where that big decision is looming over your head, right? And so I'll say that to say this. The analogy that I always use is, if you think about it like someone that goes to work, right? Has a job and absolutely despises their job, right? They hate it, right? They hate their boss, they hate their coworkers, they hate their job. But they really don't hate everybody, right, around them. They just hate the situation that they're in. They want to be more. They want to go higher. They want to do more. They feel like their worth is more than really what's seen and what's recognized at their workplace. And so there's two different ways that a person in that situation approaches it. One will get up in the morning, maybe take a shower, maybe not. Definitely going to be late. Definitely going to show up late for work. At least half of the time, going to be late for work. When somebody asks a question at work, they're not really one to stand up and answer it. When it comes time to looking at the schedule of how many days you've taken off, they're always going to be at the very top, right? Taking full advantage of every single moment of paid leave, right? And they're probably the person that you're going to see kind of sleeping on the computer. You walk by and you see them watching a YouTube video or something on the computer at work, because they're not really interested. They're just passing time because they're unhappy. The second type of person in the same situation hates their job, thinks they're worth more than what people recognize and give them credit for. That same person wakes up in the morning, puts a suit on, takes a shower, makes himself look like when he walks out the door, they look like they're the CEO of the company. Arrive at work early, never late. Don't take days off, not even all their sick days, not even all their vacation days. And spend every single minute that they are at that workplace actually doing work. When somebody has a question, they're the first person to answer, right? When somebody needs help, they're the first person to stand up. They're the last person to leave for the day, but the first person to arrive. Now, I call that, when you wake up in the morning, the first little fork in the road for the day. It's how are you going to present yourself when you walk outside, right? In this scenario, we got two people that are in the same situation in life, but presenting themselves in two totally different ways. Now, if you think about it, the person that's applying themselves may apply themselves every day, and it just so happens that one day, the main boss, the real CEO, comes in and they notice him. Man, that person over there is dressed really nice. Wait, they just answered all those questions. Hey, somebody over there needed help and they jumped up and helped them. You know, it's 5:15 and he's still here or she's still here, right? And they get noticed. And because they're noticed by somebody who appreciates their decision to apply themselves at a high level, they're likely to get a raise, to get a promotion, and to have doors opened to other paths that never will be opened for the person that's choosing to be lazy and not care. And this is just one of those small little decisions that we have to make each and every day. It happens to us every single time we have to decide, are we going to apply ourselves today? Are we going to work today? Or are we going to play? On your weekends, are you going to spend your weekends wasting time? Or are you going to spend your weekends educating yourself? Are you going to spend your weekends applying yourself to not just learn stuff, but to also do the stuff that you're learning so that you can grow in the way that you want to grow, whether it's in business or in life or in your relationships or in your health and wellness? It doesn't matter what it is. If you want the results, you've got to put in the work. And that's yet another little fork in the road. And you see, when you wake up at, like me, 39 years old, I've had a lot of success, made a lot of money, and I look back, and it's like I'm looking back over my shoulder and I'm looking back at the last 19 years of my life. I can see all those little decisions. I can see the decisions that I made in high school to come home and educate myself so that I would be structured and that I would understand that I had responsibility, that I had to take care of, right? I can see the 20-year-old kid that decided to sit in my apartment on the weekends instead of partying, and I worked and I built my business. I refined my craft. I made myself who I am today because of the decisions that I made 20 years ago. And I could literally go through 100 of those. It's not one big, I didn't just wake up and say, I'm going to be an internet marketer and I'm going to make millions of dollars. No, that's not what happened. I made a lot of little decisions along the way. So when you want to be successful in life, whether it's in your relationships, your marriages, your, certainly in your health and fitness, and most definitely in your entrepreneurship, your business, right? Your finances, you have to be aware of those little forks in the road. Every time they come about, every time there's a decision that has to be made, you have to think, what are the long-term ramifications of this decision? What is my end goal? And based on where I want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what decision should I make today, right here in this moment, this small little decision? Our days are a series. Where we end up at the end of the day is based on a series of decisions we make in these little bitty forks in the road that guide us and lead us, right, all the way to where we are. And so as an entrepreneur and as somebody that wants to be successful, as somebody that wants to grow, as somebody that wants to be more tomorrow than you are today, you have to have awareness that every decision you make is compounding. It's not isolated. It's not one decision, one outcome. It's one decision that leads to an outcome that puts you on a different path that will no longer give you any of the other options that you would have had you made a different decision, right? So you have to have awareness each and every moment, and you have to put your best foot forward in every situation, no matter how small it is, no matter how minuscule it is, no matter how much you hate it, no matter how much you hate the decisions, the situation, no matter how irritated you are with where you are in life. If you always apply yourself, if you always make the decisions that other people are not making, you've heard this so many times before, the path least traveled, right? That's the path to success. There's a reason that they call successful people the 1%. And it's because 99% of people took the other path. So my advice to you is always be aware, choose the path less traveled, and always apply yourself in every single thing that you do. And do not take any decisions that you make in life lightly, because they will ultimately alter the path that you will be on 10 years, 15 years, maybe 20 years from now. And if you want that path to be the path of success, then you got to make the right decisions each and every day. Hopefully this message helps you. Hopefully it helps you open your mind and see things a little differently, be aware of things that may be leading you down wrong paths, and hopefully it helps you become a more successful and well-rounded entrepreneur. If you enjoyed this, please leave me some feedback on your favorite podcast app, wherever you happen to be listening to this. And if it's on YouTube, then would love it if you would click the like button and share this with other people. And I look forward to having you join me next week for another episode of the Unlock Success Podcast.